Hello, hello. I hope everybody is doing good today. We are going to play some more Baldur's Gate. We are going to finish clearing out the creche, steal an egg, maybe start in on the Shadowlands. See if we can get ourselves into some more trouble. Actually, I really don't want to play Baldur's Gate today. So, I think something somber. We could do... I don't know if it'll let me play this. Kind of in the mood to play like story games, like really deep, spooky stories. But I don't really have any. You know what? So what's going to happen? They're just going to tell me that I can't stream it, right? See if I can even pull it up on the thing. Let's play. Okay. To this. We will go to this. To this. We are going to play a new game. The Town of Light is based on real events, places, and research concerning mental illness and the life of patients in lunatic asylums, from the beginning of the 20th century until their closure. It contains stories which may be disturbing, the characters and names are fictitious, and any reference to people living or dead is purely coincidental. This game uses an artistic interpretation of a former Italian psychiatric institution for dramatic purposes. Please note that mental health services have radically improved around the world. If you think you may have psychological problems, please speak to a local doctor or specialist. Volterra, 1942.
What's happened? What is this place? Maybe I'm dead. I can't see any light. Maybe I am dead. I can't get up. What's going on? What's happening to me? There's no one here, but these noises. God, my head is killing me. I can't keep my eyes open.
Inspired by real events. I wasn't born in a barn. God, this game is so pretty.
This place. Time. Memory.
Can I open? Oh, I can. Oh, Jesus, it's dark in here. Psychiatric Hospital Administrative File of Amara, admitted on June 15th, 1937, discharged on blank, transferred on blank, died November 8th, 1942. Telegram, Volterra on Podesta. Please kindly notify any relatives of death of blank, inviting them to cover burial expenses, failing which corpse will be sent to Pisa for study purposes. Cost 100. Director S. Inventory of objects of a patient upon admission. Charity congregation. I am freezing. It is time for me to find a blanket. Psychiatric Hospital Administration. Inventory of articles of clothing and footwear, cash cards, and other valuables upon admission to the asylum for observation. Renee. On the day 12/3/1938. Details of clothing, amount of cash, valuables, cards, and other objects. Notes. Sweaters. Shirts 1, underwear 1, pairs of socks 1, shoes 1. The assistant director wrote Volterra on the day blank. Didn't change anything. Patient discharge readmission document. Name and surname. Francesca Agostini. 65027. Paternity Arduino. Paternity Martelli Gina. Born Valteri, Providence, Rome. On October 13th, 1895. Place of residence Valteri, Providence, Roma. Marital status widow. Admitted on May 30th, 1916. Diagnosis early dementia. Referred from Rome Asylum. Transferred to Asylum observation rooms. Dismissal date, month, year. Form of dismissal, file number, readmission. 4/9/1939. Respiratory disease. Form of I feel like that's death, not dismissal. I'm sorry, what? Province of Rome, 498. Death report of Giuliani Dina. Not exactly what I wanted to do, but here we are.
this place. Time. Memory.
You are here. Fascist National Federation for the Fight Against Tuberculosis. The civilized person does not spit on the ground and does not swear God. Central Anti-Blasphemy Committee under the honorary chairmanship of His Majesty the King. Did I get jumped yet in this game? No, Powell. I have not gotten the bejeebus scared out of me. Not yet. But I have only just started, so is that too. Voltaire a charity congregation which, in full compliance with directives of the fascist regime, in the spirit of great initiative and the rationality of technical criteria, proceed to the truly exemplary organization of a self-managed high-intensity cultivation agricultural company on Volterra's fields where the compact rugged clay soil was previously used as sparse pasture land. The secondary provincial commission, in solemn recognition of this particular rural merit, unanimously voted to assign the present special certificate of honor and a large gold medal in the triennially competition as a prize to all companies under the umbrella of Agro Volterrano. The President, the Secretary, Pisa, November 26, 1933, 12 EF. Or I'm sorry, 17 EF. Because I know my Roman numerals. S. Girolamo Asylum. Note: A visit is granted to military patients for top placement only to parents, brothers, sisters, wife, and children. If authorized in writing by the family, acquaintances may obtain information about the health and mental condition of patients. Calling on the doctor on duty. If such a letter is not presented at the door, access will be denied. Any leave will be granted from time to time when the conditions of the patient permit it and the requesting parent, brother, wife assures guarantee of surveillance and custody. No other person will be granted access to patients outside the institute. Any item intended for a patient must first be authorized every time by the health authorities. Wine and spirits are strictly forbidden in any case. The Director. Awful lot of wine bottles in here for alcohol being prohibited. Volterra, 12/4/1926. Irene E. in K, 26 years. The woman is in a state of great agitation. She curses her 3-year-old daughter for having ruined her life. She wanted to take us away, that damned kid. Wanted to kill us. She's the devil, I tell you. She's the devil herself. She destroyed my ability to give life. She left her sister in silence. Silence is scary. The mother explains that her husband, Eric K., worried about her daughter, called a doctor who, noticing the state of the woman and the potential danger to her daughter, urgently initiated the procedure for admission. The woman was admitted to observation in the single room, not because she was dangerous, but in view of her social class it seemed the most appropriate choice. The mother has provided a generous donation to this institution in order to find a more suitable accommodation for her daughter. Nothing. Well, now that I have a flashlight, let's go back in here. Every noise is suspicious to me. Okay.
The only thing I remember clearly is Charlotte, my doll. Nobody says we can't. Let's find Charlotte.
I don't want to. You are here.
Let's search the wards on the upper floor. There's a plan on the wall which shows their location.
The semi-agitated ward.
Let's find Charlotte. She's alone. She's alone in the dark. No, she's freezing. She's alone. Let's look for her.
Is that a patient transfer document? Psychiatric hospital transfer. Fanti Clemente, paternity Luigi, deceased, place of birth Pomerantz, age 37. Date of admission July 7th, 1937. 23/5/1942. 20, deceased at 6 p.m. But it doesn't give a cause of death? Disarticulation. Okay. Oh, that scared the bejesus out of me. Craniotomies? Alright. Well, I'm done in here.
Renee doesn't want to abandon her.
The hell? Why are we amputating hands? Medical books are terrifying.
Mummy took good care of Charlotte. She tucked her in, hugged her, gave her cuddles and kisses. She was very affectionate and loving. Nothing bad happened to Charlotte, and that surprised me. I didn't understand. At first, I was quite scared. I was afraid that she wanted to hurt me. I lived in constant fear that Mom would abandon her. Because I didn't deserve to live. I didn't deserve to be loved. It's cold and it's dark. Look, she's cold. She'll get ill. We can take care of her. Nobody can stop us. Charlotte is a good girl. My memory of those years is hazy. Between the age of about 7 and 10, my memories are disconnected, and I couldn't say how many times and how frequently the light used to come. My mother gave me a doll around that time. Charlotte. Thinking back to it makes me want to laugh. But at the beginning, I remembered that I was afraid of her. I thought she wanted to harm me, to kill me and take my place. But when the light came, she would stay beside me, and her presence. Did not disturb me. I was able to talk to her, and so she became my best friend. At least until I was in grade 2, when everything changed. She didn't laugh at me, and if I had to say something to my mother, I asked her to say it. When things inside me turned bad, she was the only one I could turn to. Now all of this makes me blush, but Charlotte was a real friend to me. I knew that she was just a doll. I wasn't stupid, but at the same time, she was real too. I don't know how to explain it. It's difficult. My mother would cuddle her and tell her things. I guess she was trying to communicate with me, but back then I was too afraid to understand it. Those lamps could make the room warmer, but Charlotte's not happy. She doesn't feel well. Charlotte is cold. Let's take her somewhere warm. I saw a wheelchair on the ground floor. It's comfortable there, and we can put Charlotte somewhere warm. Charlotte will be comfy here. But it's cold. No, it's cold. Don't shiver, Charlotte. The cold will go away. It'll go away. The cold has gone away now, you see? The light, the warmth. We can do it. The cold will go away. It has to. Now we can enter the ward where everything started. It all began in the observation ward on the ground floor.
Remington. Jesus. Oh God, this hurts my eyes. Jesus. Oh, God.
One day I turned off the light, but it didn't go dark. It was a limitless immensity, a blinding, merciless light. I was 16 years old, and I was afraid, always afraid, a fear that wore me down. I needed help, but I couldn't speak. I was terrified of everything, even thinking. They said they were taking me to a place where the fear would go away, where I would get better. I stopped living in there. They dragged me away and stripped off all my clothes, everything. I tried to explain what was going on in my head. They tied me to the bed for days. I was alone with my nightmares. It wasn't fear anymore. It was madness. And when you're mad, you cease to exist. She was my only hope in this hell. I was descending down, down among the damned. But that woman and her smile kept me alive.
Yes, Monkey, I am. I am going to see if I can get some of the achievements that I missed. And I wasn't really feeling the Baldur's Gate vibe. Okay. Volterra Psychiatric Hospital. Yeah, how's that been? Transfer file. Name and surname T. Renee. Paternity unknown. Place of birth Montefoscoli. So I shouldn't watch it. Age 17, April 4th, 1938, 10:30. The patient Renee T is transferred from temporary asylum in the observation rooms to the quiet ward. OPV stamp. Is that on Apple TV or is it on something else?
The door is locked from the outside. Here, the doors can only be locked and unlocked from the outside.
I'll have to watch it. I'll have to watch a preview. Let's see. That's locked. 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 Oh, that's where I was. Locked. Ignore the creepy sounds. That's a scary thought. Let's turn on some lights. Turned on lights and nothing got any brighter. No. Well, that's not where I left you, ma'am. Monkey, is the show like suspense or like horror? Oh, that's why nothing's happening. I have to move. Oh, right. Oh, is this? Alright, well, before I keep walking. As a heads up, uh, bad shit happens in these flashbacks, so trigger warning. God, I still get creeped out by it.
He laughed, panted, and slobbered all over me. It hurt me when he touched me. I thought I'd suddenly split open with a loud crack, and I would be shattered into pieces. I felt fragile, sick, dirty, degraded. All I could do was clutch Charlotte tightly while Renee obeyed. He was the master in the realm of light. I was being consumed by the evil act I had committed. I threw up and could feel hell getting closer and closer. Those tests the doctors did to me. They said there was something growing inside, and they wanted to drag it out of me.
Yeah. June 24th, 1926. Dear Mr. Director, the present letter is to recommend to your precious attention Mrs. Irene K., admitted in your institute last 12th April. Sure of your special attention to the unfortunate woman, our dear friend, I beg you to provide for her every need. The family will satisfy every expense. For any concerns, please contact Monsignor Attilio D., who will personally come to visit. Sincerely yours, Cardinal G. gonna just gonna pretend that that's dirt and rust on the mattresses. Yep. I'm just gonna live in healthy denial.
He felt accused, hurt. I chased him away. I insulted him. He was proud, handsome. He said things about me to other people, which he shouldn't have said. Mother caught me coming home drunk. She beat me and sent me to speak to Don Gino every day. He came back and tried to speak to me. I think he liked me. Sometimes I sent him packing and I started shouting at him, but other times I embraced him. I held him tight and loved him. But he couldn't bind himself to me. I was 16 and ill. I had no future. I didn't get out of bed for weeks. Then I did things I was ashamed of. I slept with men. The guilt tore at my soul, and the light came back to torture me. I invented stories to justify my actions. I couldn't bear my own weight. Mom found out about it. Her voice split my head. I pushed her away because I was afraid of dying, and I shouted to the whole world what was happening to me and that I didn't understand. The police arrived and they carted me away. I remember the onlookers shaking their heads. They would be better off without me, cleansed of shame, with something to talk about for a while.
Okay. Go. Dear Director, I've been working at this institution for 5 years now. I'm a simple person, I'm not educated, and I feel embarrassed about writing to you. I always try to look on the bright side, but sometimes we are called upon to do difficult things. That is our duty, and I well understand and accept it. There is no alternative. However, I have decided to write to you because something is happening which is simply unacceptable. I am well aware that there's someone among us who devotes too much attention to the younger female patients who are confused. The serious nature of this fact has compelled me to write to you. I am certain of your indignation and of the measures you will adopt to solve the problem. Please accept my warmest regards and respect. School for Nurses, according to Article 24 of the August 16th, 1909. Well, at least they had to go to school, I suppose. Just dirt. Dirt and rust. See, these pillows are just dirty. See, just dirty. They just need to be cleaned. It's fine.
She stayed with Renee during
Jesus.
those terrible medical examinations, and that gave her the strength to survive.
I think we already read that one. All right, time to go back upstairs. I don't want to. God, that's terrifying.
August 21st, 1938. Confidential. Dear A, I know what you think about these things, so I'm referring a patient to you, Renee T. This wretched girl got out of control and caused trouble in the grounds. She's almost 3 months pregnant. The nurses should be more alert. I'm examining the girl on the 28th. I'll handle things very carefully, don't worry. We don't want to make matters worse. Then they said that Renee was crazy, and that the illness was all in her head. Careful, little girl, careful.
It is called
I
the
was
Town
scared,
of Light.
and I didn't talk to anyone about the illness. Only her. Not even the other doctor. He never touched Renee. He just wrote things down. You can tell me everything. Don't be afraid, he said. Everything's going to be fine. Do you want to know what I am writing? I note down what I observe in you, everything I see. He didn't hate Renee. He tried to help her, but he rarely examined her in those small surgeries.
This is called the Town of Light. It's a story about a girl in an insane asylum from the 20s and 30s. Oh, hey, look, she's back where she belongs.
My name is Renee. They told me that I have to write this diary, but I don't feel like it. It's not true that I feel better when I write. Actually, it's worse. I was a shy girl, and I just wanted to be like the others. But that's not what happened. No. I did things that, when I think about them now, eventually brought me here. Everything started with that damned light. It happened for the first time when I was still a little girl. I was 6 or 7. I was walking outside school when suddenly the noise started to melt into an indistinct rumble. The light increased out of all proportion and everything lost its meaning. I could no longer recognize anything. Objects, people, words, not even myself. I felt fear as a physical sensation. It prevented me from moving, from swallowing, from breathing. After God knows how long, everything went back to normal. But a new fear replaced the old one. Different but terrible. Of the light coming back. And it did come back. My memory of those years is hazy. Between the age of about 7 and 10, my memories are disconnected, and I couldn't say how many times and how frequently the light used to come. My mother gave me a doll around that time. Charlotte. Thinking back to it makes me want to laugh. But at the beginning, I remembered that I was afraid of her. I thought she wanted to harm me, to kill me and take my place. But when the light came, she would stay beside me, and her presence did not disturb me. I was able to talk to her, and so she became my best friend. At least until I was in grade 2, when everything changed. She didn't laugh at me, and if I had to say something to my mother, I asked her to say it. When things inside me turned bad, she was the only one I could turn to. Now all of this makes me blush, but Charlotte was a real friend to me. I knew that she was just a doll. I wasn't stupid, but at the same time, she was real too. I don't know how to explain it. It's difficult. My mother would cuddle her and tell her things. I guess she was trying to communicate with me. But back then, I was too afraid to understand it.
June 1935. After much theorizing and practice in clinics for the privileged, the moment for action has finally arrived. Volterra is the right place. It's an avant-garde hospital, the perfect place for a doctor who really wants to make a difference. November 20th. Crossing the threshold of the asylum was similar to entering another dimension. A world of smells, noises, and images which it is almost impossible to imagine, describe, or explain. August 1936. The situation is similar to that in many other institutions. The department is overcrowded. Hundreds of patients are supervised by a handful of nurses who are forced to tie the more distressed ones to their beds or to radiators. They do 24-hour shifts. It's impossible to work like this. We doctors rarely see the female patients, and it's the nurses who tell us what's happening to the women. The overpowering stench in the wards, the constant din of shouts and voices that are barely recognizable as human, dirty, naked bodies devoid of any dignity. The lunatic asylum gets under your skin and wears you down. I often consider resigning. I feel useless, impotent, a sort of merciful jailer, a mercy that helps no one and only helps to ease my conscience. March 15th, 1938. Dramas are played out before my eyes every single day, and I try to distance myself from them and just do the best I can. But a girl arrived some days ago. I couldn't avoid her gaze. All she asked in her dignified silence was not to be ripped away from her world. And me. I'm old enough to be her father, the father she never had, who didn't want her, who rejected her without even knowing her. I, too, refused what she asked me. I couldn't do anything but add my signature and consign her to hell. A danger to herself and to others, and a cause of public scandal. This was what was written on the accompanying note from the police headquarters. It was difficult not to agree with it. How much more violence must this poor girl be subjected to? Her gaze is so intense, so far removed from the carefree nature which should be the joyous hallmark of her age. I cried myself to sleep in my solitude. I kept thinking about those sad and frightened eyes staring at me.
Good, good. Charity congregation. Number 6530, object. Name and surname: Damiano Saverio, father Gino, mother Conticini Maria. Marital status: married, married to Fiandri Adele, widower of Idem. Number of children: 5. Date of birth: September 13th, 1883. Birthplace: Montioni. Residence: municipality: Montioni, province Firenze. Residence: Montioni. Profession: butcher. Economic condition: poor. Religion: Catholic. Address for correspondence: I kindly request your illustrious excellency to kindly convey to this address any information regarding the insane Damiani Saverio, son of the deceased Sirio and Conticini Maria, born in Montione and residing there, aged 53, admitted in this institute on 19th of June, 1936. The director. Good, good. Fun times. Nothing. It's so much fun. University in Bologna, Inome, Dis Vittorio, Emmanuel. Specialist in psychiatry. That doesn't make this any better. What's this? Oh, weird. Thank you. All right.
March 12th, 1938.
Renee T., 16 years old. Menstruation at age 12. Housewife. Father unknown. Mother a seamstress.
Admitted in observation yesterday morning from Pontedera, accompanied by a police officer authorized by the examining magistrate of the Court of Pisa to be admitted for a psychiatric evaluation, which I have carried out. Medical certificate. Mental illness preceded by warning signs. Has suffered from depression for a year, believing she had tuberculosis. Food deprivation. We can't read this document. It is forbidden. We mustn't. If they find out, there will be trouble. We have to look for Amara. We must hurry. We have to follow the memories and make sure they don't fade. She is frightened, hears noises and ghosts, presents serious signs of anxiety psychosis, suffers from hallucinations. She is anxious, confused, her expression is distressed, a questioning look as if terrified, disoriented. She feels confused, hears voices shouting in her head. She doesn't understand things properly. She has been feeling unwell for 2 or 3 months. When questioned, she replies, "My mother wants to hurt me. I am always scared of her. She chases me." "Why are you here?" "I argued with my mother and was so upset that I felt like my head was spinning. There was a woman there who wanted to force me into a life of prostitution. They wanted to condemn me to be burned at the stake. Children whispered, called my name." March 16th. She couldn't sleep last night. They wanted to condemn her to be burned at the stake. April 4th. Transferred to the calm ward, still under my supervision. "Yes, that's true. The ward where Amara was. Yes, the stake. The children wanted to burn Renee. She had to pay for what she'd done, like witches at the stake." April 21st. She's more awake this morning and is responding to questions, complains of headaches. She became agitated when she found out her mother was there. She says that one day, many years earlier, she was with a friend of hers and met a man who made her get into a car and took her for a ride. He made her smoke cigarettes and drink liquor, and the man showed her certain things. He tried to hurt her and made her go crazy. She says he promised to marry her and made her swear to keep what had happened a secret. These facts were essentially confirmed by her mother. After that, she became arrogant, impatient, and hostile towards her family, especially her mother. She started taking off her clothes in public. Her moods would swing from laughter to tears. She rants. She pleasures herself. I can't remember these things, only the guilt, the stake. I know I deserved to pay for that guilt. I knew it even then. Amara, she was good. Let's look for her. What else can we do? the grounds at the back of the hospital, and then down to the kitchens.
Boop-a-doop. How the fuck do I get out? There's no other way out of here. Never mind.
This is the road we used to take. If
Jesus.
it weren't for her, in the grounds on that bench in spring, so many days. It was an escape, watching nature around us as she talked and smiled. And then there were the kitchens. Sometimes we stole food and ran back to the bench to eat it in secret, and we laughed. She did things to me. Sometimes she touched me. In the shower, I felt her body against mine for the first time. It was a shiver that warmed my soul. Eyes closed, the light slipped away.
Good, good.
She wasn't in the system. He wouldn't let her in. That's it. She must be the key to my memories, to the reasons why. Nature helped me to forget, to escape from the system. The scent of spring. The land of light was far away, and we spent the days chatting on the stone benches.
He told me about Bruna's father and brother, but I was already very ill. The light had returned, and that thing made me suffer even more. It was my world, and it was crumbling. When I spoke to Bruna about it, she turned her head away and was silent for a long time. He told me about Bruna's father. Prince Charming doesn't exist, Renee. At least not for us. I was 14 years old. I didn't think it was possible for a boy to look at me and desire me. When he asked me if I wanted to go for a walk, I didn't say anything. I didn't even have the courage to look at him. Things improved for a number of years, then suddenly everything came crashing down. One evening I came home drunk, and the following morning a terrible crisis overcame me all of a sudden. What had I done? I was terrified. I thought I'd lost my sight. The light burned my eyes from inside. The memories of the previous day emerged in bursts, images, flashes, which unleashed something monstrous inside me. Repetition of words was no longer sufficient. Now there was a voice in my head which repeated them louder than I did, and they were words of accusation and blame. So I covered my ears and shouted and hit my head against the wall and threw up.
All right, well, it's being done. I remember the doctor, the wall filthy with blood and vomit. My mother did not look at me. Bruno was crying, but trying to hide it. Charlotte was beside me. I never told anyone what had happened. He came to visit me, but I refused to see him. I became agitated. I think he liked me, even though things turned out badly. In that period, I began to suffer from memory loss. The few things I learned didn't please me at all. He told me I was looking for him. Bruna told me that sometimes I got drunk. People in the village talked about me. Sometimes I was covered in black and blue marks. I didn't realize what was happening to me, what I was doing. I was no longer in control of my life from my little corner.
This was our bench. We often went to the kitchens. She sometimes went on her own when things were going well.
Come on, let's look everywhere. She must be here, I'm certain.
You need to stop scaring the bejeebus out of me.
Keep looking. We mustn't give up. Where could she be? We've got to talk to her. Everything will be all right. But being here now, I don't like it. Come on, let's look for her quickly. We can't stay in here too long. They'll find us. When they found us... Come on, hurry. We've got to find her quickly. We've got to get out of here. They'll find us. But not now. Not yet. Amara's not here. Maybe she's in the showers. We can find her there. The water was often cold. When it was cold, we ran away. But when it was hot, then she came to Renee under that cruel white light. I can still feel the shivers her body gave me. Everything must return to how it was. If we recreate that magic, she'll come to us.
Nothing's bad is gonna come from this.
I no longer considered my body as something disgusting and ill. Far from it. I began to look at myself, to caress myself, and smell my own skin. I began to explore and experiment, finding physical pleasure. My ideas were not very clear, and I never spoke to anyone about these things. Bruna, however, spoke about them. She boasted about her love stories and her young men. To my eyes, she was very lucky. always being wooed. By marvelous, generous, and kind boys. Thus, I fantasized about her adventures, pretending that I was the main protagonist. But how could I ever be like her? Occasionally I recall that she had black and blue marks on her body, but I was so naive that I did not understand. I did not put two and two together. It was Don Gino who explained things to me a few years later.
Am I supposed to go all the way back out and around? You'd think I would remember from the last time. Nope. What? I don't remember where I'm supposed to go. Can't go out that way. Nothing that way. to get really frustrated.
We have to turn the water on in the showers and switch the boiler on. All the plumbing systems were in the kitchen area. Now everything is ready. We can go to the bathrooms. We can go along that narrow corridor in the kitchens. We'll meet her in the showers, yes.
Time for weird shit.
Everything's ready. Let's get undressed and leave our clothes on the hooks in the changing rooms. Let's turn the water on now, and everything will be as before.
Amara was everything I could have been, but she no longer existed. I'd have loved to erase everything I did, but instead I always went ahead and did it again. It was my fault, and she disappeared from my life. They gave you injections there, which made your body and soul tremble violently. A whirlwind of anguish and unbearable pain. I lived in terror of the next time. They had taken me upstairs to that ward where no one wanted to go.
Okay. On that note, I am going to call it a little early today. I am tired and I have work in the morning. But my goal is to try to get some of the achievements that I don't have. But I appreciate you guys that stuck around and watched and may or may not have gotten creeped out like I have. Um, Everybody have a good night. Get some sleep. Take care of yourselves. Hydrate or dahydrate.